Boss Rush 660 Day 1. So this one's a pretty easy day. We've got Ursula Windfury as a first boss, which only has a little bit of RNG from whatever the blue orc casts. And then the last boss is Rend Blackhand, which is decent for artillery strike overall for the whole run, but Rend redirects damage to himself from his blue dragon adds, so you actually need a second artillery strike to sweep out those blue dragon adds after the first one hits him, no matter how big your artillery strike is. So not an ideal farm day, but an okay one, and I've got a couple comps here for it. These first two are going to utilize Elise Khadgar to lock down the red and green orcs. And then for the blue orc, we're going to use either Balinda's elemental or Jaina elementals to help mitigate some of the RNG from the flurry casts on that blue ad. And then our third comp here is one using Varden. Varden has proved to be very strong with this Band of Frost equipment finally being fixed with the patch we just had like 2 weeks ago. So this comp actually is probably the one I'm going to try to farm this day with until we get something better. And it kills very quickly and has some of the easiest cleanup that you can get. You can replace Varden with Genn in this party slot here, but the Genn cleanup is more difficult because Ursula heals back to full health when the blue orc dies, and you also don't have as good of options for killing off your own mercenaries, where the Varden comp has crazy frost ramp. You have no ramp on your Genn comp, so the Varden version is just better than the Genn version. And there may be some other comps because it is still very early after this one has been released, but these ones seem to work pretty well so far. You also can cut this slot here with either the Balinda or the Jaina in it on this first Elise comp and put an additional artillery strike in, but then you need to get a low frost anomaly and or have the blue orc not cast flurry at you at all, because you're just going to be letting those flurries hit you if you go with that option. So that's the like RNG option to bring 3 artillery strike mercenaries, and then we've got these other options here. So let me go over this Balinda comp first, and then we'll just go over the others before we run each of those. So I've got Monkey's Paw on Elise, Bitter Chill on Khadgar, Downward Dog on Arfus, and you want your Arfus to be weak enough to die, so try not to pump up your hit points on Arfus too much. Lesser Water Elemental on Balinda, Gilnean Strength on Genn, and then this is just any artillery strike mercenary. I'm using Edwin because he's green and most of the bosses are blue, and he also benefits from Genn's summons since he's a human. I'm using a Round of Drinks on him. So this comp is better if you have a very strong Balinda Water Elemental, and also if you roll a low attack anomaly on the blue. So we're hoping for no attack anomaly on the blue. Since there are 3 colors of enemies here, it's fairly common to have the anomalies split up on things where, you know, you can get low attack anomalies. Now, low attack anomaly is actually very bad for me if all of them get low attack anomaly, because my Arfus does not die because of shared treasures. So we got a flurry cast on the first turn, which you usually don't want to see, but in my case it might be a good thing because it might kill my Arfus off here. So you always root with Elise, you always Hearthfire with Khadgar, and then you're just trying to kill your Arfus off. Okay, good, my Arfus died. So now I have to just restart this. Alright, I'm going to bring out Balinda here. It's also nice if you can hit your Arfus into the blue because you'll reduce its attack with that fetch skill. Okay, so if it's Potion of Illusion, you don't need to use your Water Elemental. So we're just trying to focus down this blue because it causes all of the problems for us. I'm going to ramp Frost damage. If you get Potion of Madness, you can also choose to freeze. The Potion of Madness usually likes to target your Water Elemental to try to freeze your mercenaries. So you can decide if it's worth a freeze or not on those turns. So I'm going to summon the Monkey and then Archmage Nova, which will buff health and attack on our Water Elemental, and then we're going to freeze that Flurry. And we just want to get rid of this, so I'm going to use a Flame Dart here because we haven't ramped our Frost enough for the Frost Dart to really pass it by enough. And we're just trying to get rid of this blue as fast as possible, which the green Balinda is also very nice for. Now, you could save your Frostburn for this turn so that you can Frostburn with Monkey buff, since both of Belinda's darts are faster than the Monkey Summon. So that's an additional option you have there. I'm going to heal to get this Water Elemental up. We're going to Blizzard. And then I'm going to ramp Frost again. And I'm just going to swing with that because... actually, do I need to? Let's see. So this does 181. This is going to do double this. So 181 plus 330. Just like a little over 500. Okay, so this won't die. So yeah, I need a swing there. And this is the only thing that ends up swinging at you, so it can do some like extra damage to your water elementals or your monkey or something, but I'm not really too concerned about it. Okay, and we should be able to finish off this seer now before it causes us any trouble. So I'm just gonna shoot that there. Actually, how much does this do? 337 or 338. So that should kill it. So I can shoot at the red, I guess. Actually, let me put this here. So when this dies, it's gonna heal this. I guess we just get that out of the way now. So it doesn't really matter which one of these we shoot at it. And then this will go off afterwards and re-damage this. And we'll save this water elemental for later. So sometimes this red will die like at the same time, but this time we got a high red health anomaly, so that's why that was a little bit different than normal. As you can see here, it was at 1536, so 1230 of that was from the anomaly. So this would have been at 300 hit points, so we would have been able to kill both of those that turn if this didn't have that health anomaly. But that's fine that it stuck around, because it'll just end up dying before Ursula anyway to all these blizzards. I'm just going to keep ramping. I can either ramp Fire or Frost, so if I ramp Fire, it'll make the cleanup easier with Genn being ramped. If I ramp Frost, it'll buff my overall damage, so I'm just going to do Frost, though. And I'm going to heal this Water Elemental up, because we're going to kill off Elise by swinging. And we also have like ramped damage from Balinda. Just want to get rid of this red here. And you could split your damage more. I guess I'll put some fire weakness and damage onto Ursula. So we're going to get a second monkey out here, I think next turn. It's probably best to just put all your extra damage into Ursula, because this will just end up dying to crits from Khadgar. So be a little bit careful with the health here, because the double monkey starts to get pretty big, and you can accidentally kill Ursula prematurely. So now we want to kill off all three of these guys that are in play. So I'm going to swing with her. And we still do need to do some more damage here, but we're already doing 600 damage a turn. And our blizzards are going to do almost 400 damage a turn. So I guess I could just go ahead and shoot my Elise. So that attack won't even go off, that's fine. And this will soften up but not kill, so I'm going to do that on myself there as well. Okay, now I like to put this on the left in case of like an outcast attack that I let go off, and then I can put these guys on the right. Because I would rather, well, actually, I would rather these mercenaries get hit than my monkey. And I'll put the guys I'm trying to protect towards the center. Okay, so rooting, and I have to keep in mind if I use an even speed, then Genn heals. So I'm going to shoot here, and I'm currently doing like 400. This would be another 500, so 900. That's okay, I think. Yeah, that should be okay. And these monkeys really help you do the cleanup a lot easier, since you have so much spell damage. Okay, so what I was trying to set up here is now I can Arcane Surge my Khadgar. The Blizzard hits Ursula and does not kill. And then that takes out Balinda, and then everybody is dead that needs to be dead, and we can shoot this stuff afterwards. And this is rooted, so I don't have to worry about freezing this turn, and we have an extra freeze to make our next turn very safe. Oh, okay, so don't do that. I forgot about that, but it's fine. When you Archmage Nova, you need to use that to kill Balinda instead, because the Arcane Surge goes off before... It goes in order, so it's Arcane Surge, then Blizzard, then Hearthfire. And if Khadgar's dead, it stops. So yeah, don't do that on your run. You have a lot of options here at the end, so just don't make that same mistake. But anyway, we did the cleanup. I just messed it up. But as you can see, if you have a strong Genn, it doesn't matter. You have so much breathing room on this encounter. Now we do need to hit artillery strikes, and we didn't. So this is a loss. But I'm going to show these other comps anyway, so I'm going to keep the video rolling instead of like doing this again and hitting. And hopefully we just hit with these other ones instead. So this comp is basically the same thing, but instead of Balinda, you're using Jaina. So same equipment, Monkey's Paw, Bitter Chill, Downward Dog. And here you can either use Frost Dust or Ice Block Talisman. Now, the advantage of Frost Dust is that this water elemental will sometimes be Potion of Madness to hit your Jaina. And so you really want its health to be higher than Jaina's attack. It's also going to get some attack buffs from your Khadgar Hearthfiring on its Archmage Novas. So it's going to get these attack buffs and these health buffs. So in my case, they're uneven. So it's gradually going to gain attack relative to its health. So the Frost Dust just makes it more likely for those elementals to survive a Potion of Madness if you let the Potion of Madness cast. And on like the second turn, that you can get like a Potion of Madness, or on the third turn or something, where you don't necessarily want to freeze because it's not a flurry. So having some more hit points here can be beneficial. The Ice Block Talisman gives you some added safety if you get flurried and those shots hit Jaina. You know, it could just provide you some additional safety. I'm going to run the Frost Dust because it also makes it easier to kill off your Jaina and provides those stronger water elementals. I'm using the Gilnean Strength and Round of Drinks on the Artillery Mercs, just like the other comp. So a couple different options there for the Jaina equipment. And when you position your Jaina, just always put her on the right. So that if you do get Potion of Madness and you're not wanting to freeze it, those elementals will only hit into your Jaina. The AI really likes to target water elementals with Potion of Madness because it's trying to freeze your stuff. Okay, so I got lucky with an attack anomaly here because my Arfus is too fat, unfortunately, due to shared treasures after I maxed him. It's basically the same opener as I was using with Balinda. I think the Balinda version's a lot stronger for me because I do have a strong Balinda water elemental, and those crits on this orc make this orc die a lot faster, so you have less flurry opportunities to worry about. But this one's a little more budget friendly because you don't need a strong Jaina, you just need a little bit of RNG from the blue to cooperate with you. So we got a flurry this turn, which is bad because this water elemental can get killed by that flurry. But even if it does, we can still potentially make it through. Okay, so we lost the elemental. So now if they flurry again, we're back to square one. Okay, so we want to monkey before we root. And thankfully that flurry didn't slow our Khadgar so much that we're not going to be able to root these guys. Because as you can see here, we're already at 7. So if we would have been hit by an additional flurry shot, this would have been at 9, and then we wouldn't have been able to stop this winged assault. But we're just going to, again, try to focus down the blue orc. And then we're just going to summon water elementals as often as possible. These potions of madness getting off can also kill off your monkey, which is probably going to happen here. Which is not ideal. I'm going to heal because we did take flurry damage. And then we're going to get out a new water elemental. And because of those hearth fires buffing attack, you can see here, it makes the difference on this elemental surviving. Although we might lose that anyway to this 4-speed here. I don't think there's anything I can do to stop that 4-speed. It would have to be something from Khadgar because everybody else is too slow. We need him to root, so we're going to lose this elemental as well. If I had saved this guiding path, I could have saved the elemental with that. So maybe hold your guiding paths to use for elementals. Could be a strategy. So you would have just used Elise's 3rd ability that turn instead. I will probably do that in the future with this comp. So yeah, here I'm going to do that. I'm going to hold the elemental. We could do anything with Khadgar. I am actually going to buff Hearthfire because this flurry would currently kill Jaina with a double hit. But if I Hearthfire, it won't, and we're getting a root from Elise this turn. So we did lose some damage by taking that line, which is going to make the Seer survive a little bit longer, but I think that's okay. Us losing our monkey and all of our water elementals is pretty unfortunate. We're not getting good RNG from the blue here. But sometimes it be like that. It's easiest when they use Potion of Illusion repeatedly. Alright, at least we got a Potion of Illusion this turn. And it's fine if you lose your Elise. As long as you manage to get rid of these blue and red orcs, you should be good. Okay, so this is more like the setup that you should have. Because now we have a water elemental to stop whatever we need to. And you usually want to stop flurries for sure. And then it's Potion of Madness is you might want to stop it. In this case, I want to save this monkey, and the blue is starting to get low, so I am going to swing with this. Although we do want to Archmage Nova first, so that we get some attack on that water elemental. I'm going to go ahead and heal here. And shoot at the blue. This should also kill the red this turn. So now we don't have those berserkers to worry about anymore. Okay, we got a Potion of Illusion again, so getting some better RNG now. We should have already had this blue dead by now, if we just had those monkeys stick around earlier. But as you can see, even with bad luck early, getting good luck later can make up for it. So now we're out of the woods. So this is going to die to our blizzard here. But it will heal this to full, so wherever I shoot this doesn't really matter. And we're just going to do some damage here. And we can save this water elemental for later. And I guess I don't need to heal anymore, so I'm just going to instead. Because we're actually going to want to kill off all 3 of these mercenaries before the end. So I'm intentionally avoiding the heal here. do want to get out another monkey still, so I'm going to keep Elise around for a bit. Because we want the monkey, we're not going to get a water elemental here. It's going to do some damage. You can also soften up your mercenaries if you're not able to one-shot them. Alright, so monkey. And this will also get another monkey buff. But that should be fine. We just want to soften up this guy, and we're going to soften up here as well. Okay, so now we don't need Elise anymore. I do like to kill Elise and summon a water elemental in the same turn, so I'm going to wait until I have Archmage Nova to kill Elise off. I guess I can just do this stat buff for the heck of it. Okay, so now I'm going to shoot Elise for 227 and summon a water elemental afterwards, and that will also root this turn, so we're still safe. Okay, Blizzard, and just doing some damage here, and then we're going to kill these guys off when Ursula's low enough. Okay, so after this turn we should basically be good to go. So if I do this Archmage Nova on Khadgar, as we saw with the Balinda comp, if I do this, this will not be rooted. So whatever, we'll just Arcane Surge our Khadgar, and I'm going to summon this and freeze. Kind of like this transition. And then we get... So I'm going to put a water elemental on the left and Jaina on the right. I'm going to put the guy we're trying to protect in the middle. So now if we get the outcast attack, it'll just freeze itself. We also have Jaina on the right, so she would take another right side hit. But we just want to kill off our Jaina. Now we have to keep in mind she's going to heal if I use this even speed. So she would currently be at 279 HP. So this would not kill her. So I'm going to shoot her with that one instead. And I'm just going to freeze here. And this does too much damage, so I'm not going to do anything with Genn this turn. We're just using our bonus water elementals. So again, we're positioning things on the left and right that we don't care if they die, and we've also got a freeze here, so even if we let a swing go off, good to go, but this should take care of it. Also keep in mind, if you do like sacrifice a water elemental, you'll lose a little bit of your spell power from the double monkey. So don't mess up the math there. Alright, I got an artillery strike. So I do need the second artillery strike before we get to Rend, but we get 2 rerolls. So 40% chance off of each of those to hit that artillery strike again. And also Onyxia does have 10 spell resistance, so you need that extra 10 damage to... Okay, we missed again, so we only got one more try now, so 40% at this point to win. So we're unfavored to finish this run. Come on, artillery. Nope. Alright, well this is a loss, but I'll show you what happens. So Rend redirects the damage to himself from his adjacent blue dragons. So If you don't have enough damage to kill Rend with just two hits, then Gith survives as well. But this guy doesn't have too much hit points, but the problem here is it gives you these as well, and he can hit you really hard. So my Genn would die if I don't transform him here, and this hits him. So like, let's say I do this. The problem is he's probably going to shoot at these conspirators, and if anything dies, this passive copies him. And I also don't have like Spirit Blade or anything on Edwin, so I can't even swing this turn. So most likely this is not beatable. If he shoots at Genn, no, he didn't even shoot at Genn, so we're like extra dead, because now he's copied. And then when this dies, it's going to copy again, so it's just an absolute mess if these things stick around. And they also have this heat-seeking flame that they can cast, which is even worse than the Magma Blast, so I am Omega dead here. I guess I'll just buff Edwin and swing with him. But I'm going to die this turn. Alright, Costume Conspirator, it's all up to you. Go get him. That's why you need 2 artillery strikes. But if you do hit them, that would be a win. Still get some consolation if you miss, so it's not the worst. Consolation should be 50% of the other reward. So this comp, the Varden comp, is the one that I will probably try farming this with, unless I just give up and wait for a better day. In this comp, I'm using Bwonsamdi with Arena Contender, Balinda with Water Elemental. On Nemsy, you can either use Peaches or Bog Moss. I'm going to use Bog Moss because I'm pretty strong and I don't need the extra breathing room. But if you use Peaches, it'll buff your Boggy and your Bwonsamdi up a bunch so that you have extra turns at the end to stall with if you need to. But I'm just going to use Bog Moss because I want my Boggy to die and my Bwon to die easier. And then we're using Band of Frost on Varden, Gilne and Strength on Genn, and a round of drinks on Edwin as well. And again, Edwin could be whoever. You could use Foon or something in that slot instead if you want to be able to shoot your own mercenaries. Alright, so turn 1, it's basically the same. I mean, the entire fight is basically the same as how this comp ran Babbling Book, or the Geddon comp ran Babbling Book last week on day 2, or day 1. Since both day 1 and day 2 were the same last week. So we just deal a fear, and then I like to put some Frost Weakness here on this blue. And then we always freeze the blue, and we just taunt our Bwonsamdi. And you can either kill off your Boggy or keep it around. Since I got rid of the Peaches, I'll just leave it sit. If it dies, it dies. I don't think they can Outcast attack on turn 1, I think it has a cooldown. But I position like this for Outcast attack because that way Bwon and Boggy would eat all of the hits from Outcast. And even if Boggy dies to that right-hand swing, the remainder Windfury hit would hit the Bwonsamdi as well. So you should be fully safe with this comp. Turn 1 is always safe. And then here I like to put Balinda on the far right. And then either Bwon or a Water Elemental on the left once I have extras. And then we put Varden in the middle. So this way, again, Outcast attacks that were to hit left and right would hit either an immune target or a freeze target. And we just bounce again. And if this guy summons this Berserker this turn, you get a free Cold Snap, which is amazing for scaling. And because these guys have low attack anomalies, I'm just going to swing for damage with my Water Elemental and get an extra activation of my Band of Frost from Varden here. But if your Water Elemental is not strong enough, you could just hang on to that one. And even though these are already frozen, that Band of Frost gives me an extra freeze activation for each frozen target. Okay, we're just going to run the same team out, and I'm going to put this water elemental on the left this time. The positioning is really buggy, though, and it likes to swap stuff around, so I usually place my mercs first, and then try to move these. That seems to prevent that swapping bug from occurring as often. But it's really annoying, because if you flip stuff around, these stuff will start moving on their own and everything, and it's really obnoxious. So we may need to kill off our Boggy to make space for an extra elemental. You can also try to position Boggy next to elementals. Like, we could have put this Boggy far right, so that this got damage mitigation from Bog Moss. But it's not a big deal. So I'm just going to Ice Lance here. And I'll put the crit on the blue. And then we're going to bounce, and I'm going to get rid of Boggy, just to make space for another elemental, and then I'm going to get another instance of Band of Frost off. It's actually want to do that first so that this gets the bonus damage. So we're just trying to get rid of the red and the blue. We want the red to die before the blue so that it doesn't get healed to full by this death rattle. Okay, so again, I'm going to put Elise on the left, and then one on the far right. And if Outcast attack hits one of these elementals, it freezes and stops. It doesn't do the extra hits before the freeze goes off. Okay, so we get a free Cold Snap again. So these are both going to give me Cold Snap. And then I'm going to ramp some more frost damage, and then I'll just shoot here, even though this will already be dead by the time that blonde shot goes off. I could swing. I'm just going to swing for a ramp. Actually, it doesn't really matter. I'll just do it after, because this is going to heal to full. So that damage would have been wasted anyway. Okay, so now I can freeze here and just do some damage. So as you can see, I'm doing over 1,000 damage per flurry, 400 on my Balinda, and we still have more freezes to ramp more if we want to. So this is why I like this comp so much for this fight. It's just extremely safe. You don't have all the RNG from the blue orc to deal with, and you just get to play with crazy damage from Varden. So that's already 1,200. So that's like 1,700. That Outcast attack will just hit here and freeze itself, so I can just let that happen. Or I can swing. So it's actually better to swing, because if it kills something, it heals for 25. But I'm going to let it happen just to show you how it stops the attack and doesn't let the remaining hits go off. It also ignores taunt. That wasn't obvious. Okay, so now I need to kill all three of these guys off, and I need to kill Nemsy off. And Nemsy can provide us some additional taunts to make sure the right targets die. So here, I just want to... I do need to do a bit more damage. It just kind of depends on how many attacks I'm going to let this thing get off, how much hit points I need it to be left with. Because we do lose a bunch of our ramp once we kill Varden. So you kind of need to think about that now. I don't know if this is too much damage. It's probably okay. I think I'm going to do a Binding Contract instead. And then this will just swing into Bwon twice. And then we can just kill off Varden now. You could also go for another bounce if you needed another water elemental. I think I'm good to go though. Okay, so I want Balinda to die. I also want Nemsy to die, so I'm going to put them on the left and the right. Let me do it this way. And I do have to keep in mind that Genn will heal even speed casts. Okay, so we did get an Outcast attack, so I might just let that go off. So if I let that go off, it's going to hit Balinda twice, then it's going to hit Boggy. Boggy will die, and then the last hit will hit my taunted Nemsy. And he will heal for 75. All should be fine. And he's going to take, or she's going to take, like 200-ish damage from melee crackback. So it's basically... Ursula's basically at like 475 right now. Somewhere around there. So this should be fine to do both of these. And I'm just going to let all that happen. Oh, it actually didn't kill my... It didn't even kill Nemsy. Okay. I was thinking that 2 hits got it. Surely that's enough to kill Balinda. And surely a crit here is enough to kill Nemsy, but no, it wasn't. But that's fine. So I'll just taunt there. And then this Ancestral Uppercut will just hit both of them. So that should be fine. Alright, and we were just putting the stuff that's fine to die on the outside, but we have taunts and fast attacks anyway. So I still have to like work out the exact sequencing for the cleanup and everything, like what most consistently gives you a fast cleanup. And of course you have to hit artillery strikes, so don't miss like I did. But that's the Varden comp. So I actually didn't win any of these 3 runs, but I did show how to do them all. I guess I'll just run it back with Varden real quick. You can replace Varden with Genn here, but you need a strong Genn for that to work. And the cleanup is just messier because you don't have all that frost scaling to both kill Ursula back from full health as well as killing your own mercenaries faster. So I just like this comp a lot better than the Genn version. And I'm not a fan of the 3 artillery strike. Just, you know, run Elise, Khadgar, Arfus, 3 artillery strike, because you just need so much RNG on your anomaly. You need like basically no frost and or no flurry casts for that to work out. I'm not a fan of that option, but it can work. Okay, so I'm gonna put our frost weakness there and freeze there and taunt. We got a very high health anomaly on the blue this time. You could try to kill Ursula before the blue with this setup. I'm not sure how that goes. I would probably just always kill the blue though. Alright, so now we're on to Bwon, Varden, and Balinda. I guess this positioning is good because you get the damage mitigation from Boggy on your fresh elemental. But I doubt it results in an extra swing very often anyway. Okay, so this does not always summon a guy this turn, so we don't get a free cold snap this turn, but I'm going to cast it anyway, and we're just going to do manual freezes. So this is going to go off first, but it doesn't matter because it just hits Boggy and Bwonsamdi. That'll all be fine. So a little bit less ramp this time. Oh, he actually targeted Bwon, so we get to keep our Boggy now. Although I do need to get rid of Boggy possibly next turn for board space. So you can just swing for more ramp if you know you've got enough. I'm gonna shoot, let's see, You could even swing with both of them. I'm just going to swing with this one, though, and I want damage on the red. This on the red as well. I'll take my crit and Ice Lance the red. I didn't check for health anomaly, but that is something you want to keep in mind. I think there was no anomaly on the red or the green. It's the blue. But always remember health anomaly when bouncing. Okay, I'm going to get my ramp here. And then this will give me a cold snap. And actually, I should ramp on this guy. Some more ramp. Okay, so this time we might actually need this bounce. That's fine. And I'm just going to go ahead and freeze both of this. We'll do this after the freezes. We might not kill this and then it'll heal. It just depends where these flurries go, but it's fine if it lives. So it's going to heal back up like 1,000 or something, but we'll just like one-shot it next turn anyways. That was a huge health anomaly, 1645. That's crazy. Not as crazy as my damage. I guess I'm just gonna Ice Lance to do targeted damage. Let me ramp that first. Alright, now we got cleanup. And you can have some attacks that get off here. Because we didn't flurry last turn. So you could try to flurry on like unfreeze turns if you want to play around that. But I'm not worried about it because I want this Bwon to die anyway. This is going to do 230, so that's perfect for him. We can go ahead and slow him for slow her for next turn. And we'll save these Ellies for now. Alright, let's put Nemsy over here. Okay, so I need to kill stuff off and I need to get Ursula to the right health value. So I could do this. Do I want to do it that way though? This is too much damage, so we can't flurry anymore. I kind of do want to do it this way, just for added safety. And I'm just going to taunt Balinda. Because Balinda can kill these guys. Alright, is that too much damage to shoot once? Like 220? let's see. So this would leave it with like 150 HP. And then I could shoot Nemsy after taunting Varden. I think that's too low though, so I don't want to do that. I'm just gonna taunt Varden, and I don't even really want to do the Frost Dart, so I'm just gonna Flame Dart. Actually, I'm gonna freeze this turn. I want to stall this a little bit. I want to do a little bit more damage, but not the full like frost damage. So that's why I did that. And now we can just let stuff hit us. Okay, so it's fine if this is probably going to kill Varden, which is what we want. And then I could go ahead and just kill off my Balinda. Or I could do a little bit of damage there. I'm just going to kill off Balinda. And that'll probably hit Varden. It could hit Boggy. I'll save the Boggy though. Let's see, that's going to take 110. This should be fine. Alright. We got taunts, and we got attacks, and we got all the stuff. Alright, let's get a artillery strike this time, and then hit the double. Alright, we still gotta do the rerolls. But at least we got past the first boss. Now, Nemsy's Can't Touch This is able to beat all of these follow-up bosses, as well as the leftover blue if you just get a single artillery strike. So you could choose to leave Nemsy alive and reduce your artillery strike odds to improve your odds of beating the full run. But then you have to actually fight through these Onyxia and air elemental fights, and possibly part of the last boss, or all of the last boss. I'm not certain if Can't Touch This with no artillery strikes is enough to beat Rend and Maestra. It might be. Because I think the Rendered Obsolete only does like 200 damage. So if you have a big enough Can't Touch This, Rend might not be too much of a threat. But now you can see, if you just hit the double artillery, then you don't have to fight anything. So yeah, leaving Nemsy alive with a big enough Can't Touch This is another win condition as well. If you really wanted to, you could run with no artillery strikes and use like this front line, and then bring like Lokholar and even Arfus or something. Just whatever does the most damage in those slots. I could play around with that real quick on the video here before I end it, and show you how crazy Lokholar is with Varden. Let's run it with this comp. You want the Icy Focus if you run Lokholar, because you just want to shoot as many Hailstorm shots as possible with this crazy Frost ramp. So I'm going to try it and not kill off any of my mercenaries. No, we'll see how that goes. A little bit of science experiment here to round out the end of the video. The other nice thing about a comp like this is you don't have to do all that fiddly junk at the end to kill off your own mercenaries and stall and avoid killing enemies. It's like, I've got this attack that does, you know, 2,500 damage. Let me cast it and just end the fight. So I'm going to do that this time. And I think this comp is probably good at Onyxia too, even if you like totally whiff treasures. Okay, so we want to go like this. So for now I'm just trying to ramp, but when we run out of bounces we can bring in Lokholar. So did we get... No, and we did not get the summon here, so we're going to do manual freezes. Use the weak one on the strong guy and the strong one on the weak one. And I'll just do damage with that. So I should probably focus down this red guy a little bit, since he has a health anomaly this run. So next turn, if we want to, we can bring the Lokholar out. So let's just get some ramp here. This does not survive if I swing at that. So I guess I'll just hit the blue. I could shoot Flurry here, but I don't really want the blue to die too early. I'm just going to shoot Flurry, I don't care. But we are going to put this damage here instead of getting the crit with it. If I had shot the blue a bunch there, it would have been okay. Alright, so we have no bounce this turn, so I'm going to go ahead and bring Lokholar. So I'm not sure if I have enough damage to just outright kill them this turn, but I might. So let's see. I'm just going to do this for ramp. And then these are the same damage, basically. This one would go off before the hailstorm. This one would go off after the hailstorm. So I think we do that and just ramp. Now I'm going to do Flurry, because if we don't kill, then we might get a slow on the Ursula in case there's a Winged Assault next turn. Because this can cause some issues with the full heal. This is just so much damage. Well, there you go. So that's what Lokholar does with Varden ramp. Don't even have to do the math, just shoot everything. Alright, Stoneheart Salvation looks like a good treasure. Frost damage looks like it's good with Lokholar. This one can also be good. This Onyxia does summon all those whelps, so this could be some crazy ramp, potentially, if you're swinging with water elementals and summoning whelps. Guess I'll take that instead of the flat frost. I don't actually know which one's better. But we got Stoneheart Salvation, so I think this is doable. So my Balinda can pop the Onyxia immunity on turn 1 and then freeze behind it. So we always want this. And then I could bring Varden out on turn 1. How big were these? Not too big. So the biggest concern would be a Conflag killing my Balinda on turn 1, probably. She's gonna do like 300. She might live. I don't remember what the base damage on Conflag is. I could use Nemsy to try to play around that. This Nemsy can also buff Belinda's health. But Varden will get ramp if I bring Varden out from that first freeze. I'm just gonna see if this works. If this doesn't work, I might just end it or whatever. Oh, Balinda has Stonehearth Salvation, so this is actually probably the best setup because Nemsy doesn't activate this, while Varden does. So I'm gonna pop Onyxia, immunity, and then who's doing what? They're both doing combustion, so it doesn't really matter which one I target. These have such high attack that even if I used Flurry before swinging, this would not get enough hit points to survive. So I'm gonna just let that freeze first and then get bonus damage on the Flurry. Now, if this Conflag hit overkills Bwon, that extra damage does still, like, cleave your side guys. But we had enough hit points, so it was fine. So whoever's across from Onyxia gets breathed on turn after next. So I'm just going to keep bringing these guys. And we can also get cold snaps by spawning whelps. So if I bounce here, I can spawn a whelp and then cold snap it. And that'll actually prevent the breath from going off until Onyxia unfreezes. Okay, so we have another bounce this turn, so I'm just gonna keep bringing that team out.
Do you take me for an ordinary myself? I demand answers.
Let them harm the end. Let them harm the end.
Alright, so I guess we just kill these guys off and save Elise. You can either do targeted or the flurry for RNG, because I could just hit Onyxia 3 times and do no damage, or I could hit these 3 times and do a lot of damage. I'm just going to do the flurry though. Okay. So about the same as if I had Ice Lanced. Alright. I don't have to bring out Bwonsamdi. I'm gonna put Varden in the middle.
I have proven myself. I demand for an ordinary
I think we're gonna go like this.
With Lokholar.
So this will give me maximum Stonehearth Salvation activations, and also set me up to tank the Onyxia breath. Wait, did that immunity go away without the breath happening? That's new to me. I don't know if it actually went away or not. Anyway, I'm gonna Hailstorm and I guess I'll swing with this one. I don't know if she's actually immune or not. I don't know if it's a visual bug. And I don't know if I'll get a cold snap this turn or not, but we'll try. Yeah, she actually lost the immunity. That's strange. Oh, right, the Cold Snap always works because of whelps, but I used the Hellstorm, so it ended up killing them, but it worked out anyway. So I could have tried to not Hailstorm instead to guarantee a Cold Snap that turn. That would have also been fine. But we've got Water Elementals now to lock this up. And Onyxia is super Omega dead. One out of my 10 Lokholar shots doing 400 damage. Pretty strong. And I even had an extra elemental I could have used for ramp. No artillery strike, unlucky. That is very unfortunate for Air Elemental, because now Air Elemental is going to get absolutely demolished by frost damage. I don't think any of these really matter. Frost Ritual is pretty nice. This one's also nice. So Frost Ritual, this next ability freezes its target. This only works on targeted abilities, so you can't like Frost Burn AoE with Balinda after casting this and freeze the whole board. It'll only be single target things, but it's still very powerful. It also does not work with Hailstorm. So even though it's like, Hailstorm is like kind of a single target ability that just hits repeatedly, because it's not targeted, it doesn't freeze anything with Frost Ritual. I actually really like Icy Arrival though. It works with every Bwonsamdi bounce, and it gives you that added safety on turn 1. So here on this Air Elemental, we're going to get to freeze both enemies on turn 1. And just get a bunch of ramp that way instead. But you could use the other one too, they're both good.
Do you take me for an answer?
He should die very, very quickly with all of our ramp. And that animation plays twice, I believe, because of the first animation is supposed to be at freezing, and then it plays the animation again for the health buff for some reason. Kind of a silly bug, but it is what it is. And this flurry might do no damage because of the wind speed ability here that makes him immune to non-melee attacks, but not a big deal.
Do you take me for an
I could probably bring Lokholar out already, but I'm too lazy to like do the math. So we can just swing for these for extra Band of Frost activations. And they both survive the swing here. And then I guess this does more damage. I probably don't have to bounce here either, but I'll go ahead and bounce. We'll just bring out Lokholar next turn. Because I believe we are more than enough ramped.
Do you take me for an ordinary man? I demand answers.
The safest positioning here would actually be Lokholar in between these elementals, because these guys shoot chain lightning at the highest hit points on your team. So it would actually bounce into my Lokholar this way with this positioning. But it doesn't matter because they're never going to unfreeze. So we're just going to swing. And then they are super Omega dead again. So I know some of you guys might be new to the Frost comp. I've been playing around with it for like a month now and mentioning it here and there, but it's finally gotten to the point where it's very strong. I don't think I want Stolen Invitation. Let me think. It's Rend. I Maybe I do want Stolen Invitation. I don't know. I don't really want to think about it too much. Oh, I can't touch this. So no Artillery Strike, but we do have two very powerful treasures with Stonehearth Salvation and can't touch this. So I believe we want Balinda Nemsy here.
Do you take me for an ordinary mage?
And I think I want to position like this because of Heat-Seeking Flame. So I'm going to taunt my Nemsy first. I don't even remember what all the turn 1 abilities are. So Nemsy's taunted. We should be fine to take that hit on Nemsy. They're probably going to try to kill these guys, but because I have can't touch this, by just taunting with them, they get the can't touch this buff. They have their own taunt ability. So all of those guys are safe. So then it's just Balinda to worry about. So what can kill Balinda? So because the damage gets redirected, I think I can't freeze either of these two dragons. I'm gonna shoot at... I guess I'm gonna put Frost Weakness on this guy, and it'll just get redirected to Rend. And then I'm gonna try to freeze him, but I'm gonna try to freeze Gith, but I think it just gets redirected to Rend and freezes Rend, because the freeze is based on what gets dealt damage with the water elemental. It's not like a Ice Lance freeze. I could also freeze Maestra instead, but I don't really care what Maestra does. It's just a bunch of melee attacks. The Maestra actually can kill these guys and cause this thing to copy, because it does like 626 damage. But that's fine if that happens, probably. Yeah, so that does redirect. We do cause a copy with the elemental, but I think we're okay with that, because we're going to get to taunt Balinda next turn. So yeah, this fight is actually quite tricky if you don't have can't touch this or an artillery strike. I'm going to bring these guys out because we can taunt Balinda, and Bwon is damage immune. Oh, this counts as a mercenary. Okay, let's ramp some Frost. Let's get a taunt on there, and I could also taunt a water elemental at one point, so I have an basically invulnerable water elemental. I'm just going to freeze that. I don't care if it copies. I just want it frozen because the copy will also be frozen. Oh, right, it doesn't get frozen because of Rend, but whatever, it's fine. So I'm actually going to bring Bwon out one more time and taunt a water elemental this turn, because I want a sticky water elemental.
Do you take me for an ordinary mage?
So we are creating a whole bunch of stuff we're going to have to kill, but that's just more stuff for us to play with our crazy Frost ramp on, so it'll be fine. Okay, so there, and then I want to freeze Gith probably. Oh, actually, my can't touch this is not big enough to just take that full 525 hit. It'll be fine. It'll just take some damage. And then it'll get healed back up when it takes other damage too, so that's fine. I don't need a double boggy, but it'll make copies if they die. Whatever, the double boggy's fine. Let's put some Frost Weakness. This guy. Okay, so now I need to make sure I bring out Nemsy. So I think I'm going to do Nemsy, Varden, and Balinda. We won't be able to bounce anymore. Is that a problem? I think it's fine. I don't think the positioning matters too much. So this is an instance where if you had the Peaches equipment on Boggy, it's probably a good thing, because you want the health ramp on all this stuff. But it makes the first fight easier for me to clean up. Okay, so we can get a cold snap here. Get our taunt on Varden. So now I can just keep swinging with this to get free ramp, since I have the can't touch this on the water elemental. I just have to keep in mind if I'm swinging into Gith, the Ellie will take some damage. It's probably safer to put the Boggies in between here because they do have like cleave attacks, but I don't really care enough to do anything about that. So this is going to get redirected to Rend, so I'm just going to kill off this guy and freeze him. None of this really does much, so I'm just going to buff health on our water elemental. And I could swing with those, but their damage is so inconsequential compared to the frost. It's kind of a waste of animation time. I'd like to have Lokholar in play, but there's no way to get 4 mercenaries out. You could do like Varden Lokholar, I guess, instead of... I could have done that instead of Balinda. Maybe I should have done that if I already had the water elemental in play. Either way is fine though, I guess. Let's see, I don't really care about any of this. This will actually just be like a cold snap target. Or we can even cold snap off this guy right now. So we'll just do that. This is extra ramp, so I'll just swing there. Alright, and Rend should die pretty quickly from here. So we should be home free at this point. I guess I'll do this. I don't think it really matters though. So everything's just going to get redirected into Rend, so it doesn't really matter other than where we want our fire weakness to go. And same thing, the freeze is just going to hit Rend anyway. Oh, we can actually damage the one on the right now since he bumped it over. Alright, let's just keep ramping. So I'll swing there. Cold snap. These guys are getting kind of big. I'll just swing with them. Not too worried about that rendered obsolete. Alright. Just doing whatever here. Just kind of spamming random abilities at this point on random targets. Casual 1100 crits. So not the quickest way to beat the bounty, but pretty consistent, most likely. There are a lot of good treasures in this comp. Like every mercenary pretty much has good treasures except for Bwon. Maestra, because she changes roles to crit things, can still do damage to these mercenaries. Especially with that Knives Out attack that gives a bunch of attack based on the number of enemies. But it's not really a threat. Yeah, this one here. If that hits any of the mercenaries, it'll change colors and crit me, but it's whatever. So there you go, no deaths run with the Varden count. So I don't think I would farm with this, just because it takes too long to fight everything. Artillery Strike is just so much more efficient for farming Renown. So I would probably, you know, not use the Lokholar, but if you want to play around with it, it is a very strong comp. So there's 4 options. This one with the Lokholar replacement, and then there's also the 5th option of bringing Genn here, but I don't really recommend that comp over this one. Good luck on your run.